What's up, you guys? Welcome back again to your Heroclix headquarters. Today we're going to be taking a look at my team that I played for Heroclix Worlds 2022. Now, obviously this is after the fact, so I didn't really do that well, so I wouldn't really recommend trying to play this team in a huge, highly competitive event. I did, however, use this team to win a local Win-A-Brick event, so I mean, it definitely has some potential. It's not a bad team by any means. It is a little bit more of like a fun competitive team. It's an Avengers themed team. But anyway, if you guys want to know all my thought process behind building this team, without further ado, let's just get right into it. All right, you guys, so let's check out this team build. Now, this is my Avengers themed team that I was playing at Worlds. So of course, first of all, we've got my guy, Sakarian Iron Man. Now, I'm a huge Iron Man fan, and having an actually like meta relevant Iron Man for once is super cool. So of course I had to include him on the team. So taking a look at what he does, I've already talked about him a lot in like my review and everything, but he's got Avengers, Stark Industries, Armor, Celebrity, Scientist, and Warrior keywords, so a great selection there. He really only has a special damage power for Outwit and Perplex, which is great. And then he's got this super long and wordy trait, which basically just says at the beginning of the game, you may generate up to 3 standard objects anywhere on the map, at least 5 squares from one another. And when Sakarian Iron Man picks up a standard object, he may instead place it on his card if less than 2 objects are on his card. And then Sakarian Iron Man modifies his combat values by +1 for each standard object on his card. And at the beginning of your turn, you may choose 1 standard speed or standard attack power for each object on his card until your next turn. When Sakarian Iron Man would be dealt damage from an opponent's attack, you may instead remove a standard object from his card to take 1 unavoidable damage instead. Whew, so long wordy trait, but basically he gives you an additional 3 objects at the beginning of the game. Every time he would pick one up, you put it on his card, gives him +1 all stats, and at the beginning of your turn you can choose a speed or attack power for each object. So you could pick 2 speed powers, 2 attack powers, whatever you want to do, really. Taking a look at his dial here, he's only 50 points. He's got 7 clicks of health, 4 of them with the Outwit Perplex combo, and then 3 more with just regular Perplex. And of course, you know, pretty basic average stats, but he's going to have +2 to everything most of the time. So you're looking at more like a 12, 12, 19 for 4, and 8 range as well. So he's pretty ridiculous. You know, picking like Charge Flurry with this guy, you got to remember replace then modify. So he's going to charge 5 +2 for 7, and then Flurry with 12 attack, 4 damage, which is insane for 50 points. You could pick like, you know, Running Shot, Penetrating Blast, Running Shot, Pulse Wave. I also love to pick Poison sometimes if he's, you know, locked up with some people. Anyway, lots of really, really good options. Penetrating Blast and Energy Explosion is another favorite of mine personally, to get a big penetrating energy explosion off. So anyway, he's a really great attacker. Up next, we have one of my other favorite Avengers here, Scarlet Witch. Of course, I've talked about her plenty as well. I was lucky enough to unbox her in my first unboxing for Disney+. So she, of course, has this trait that she can start the game equipped with the Darkhold, and when she uses its effect, she can instead choose 2 of the listed powers. So that gives you, usually I end up picking Perplex and Prob. Sometimes the Outwit comes in handy, though. And what's really cool, actually, is with this, I've learned you can kind of get all 3 if you wanted to, if you really need to. Because let's say last turn you picked, you know, Outwit and Prob, right? So this turn you use your Outwit to turn off their defense. So you have somebody come up and smack them. And then you could take the free action to choose Perplex and Prob. You could Perplex up or attack, you know, Running Shot out there to hit him again. And, you know, Prob if you need to anywhere in there. So you can kind of have access to all 3 if you kind of, you know, every turn you switch it back and forth like that. It's pretty nuts. But anyway, then she has this awesome trait that says power, generate a chaos special marker, max 1 in Scarlet Witch's square. If the Scarlet Witch is more than 3 squares from the chaos marker, remove her chaos marker. Other characters within 3 squares of her chaos marker can't use powers. That's super, super powerful. If you manage to catch your opponent off guard with that, you can really just run through their team pretty quick. So it's super, super effective, but it is a little hard to pull off. you know, if you don't get it set up the turn beforehand, or, you know, you don't get your TK lined up properly or something, it can be kind of hard to pull off. I really don't end up using it every game or anything, but when I do, it's, you know, it's devastating. So really cool to have. And then she has knockback and penetrating psychic blast on her attack power. And when she knocks back an opposing character after resolutions, you can either remove an action token from her or heal her 1 click. Most of the time I end up trying to heal a click because you can heal off her stop click that way, but, you know, sometimes removing the action token can be useful. And I think I did forget to mention, yeah, there's a stop click with Super Sense is invincible. When this click is first revealed for the rest of the game, she has Power Cosmic or Cosmic Energies team ability. And she already has Avengers Initiative to see through hindering, as well as Mystics, which is great. Running shot with 11 attack penetrating blast, 18 with super senses and shape change, makes her really hard to hit, especially with perplex and prob. She can easily make herself a 19, prob the hit, you know, shape change, super senses, all that. And then even if they do get through all that, they're taking a mystic. So yeah, she is definitely one of the strongest Avengers, if not the strongest right now. So there is a quick look at the Darkhold. That awesome book she's holding there. Then, like I said, here it gives you that free choose a standard power from the following list. This character can use a chosen power until you choose again. Prob, control, perplex, and outwit. So you get to pick one, and with her effect, you get to pick 2 of them, which is great. And like I said, you can kind of cheat and use all 3 of them just by switching between them each turn. But anyway, moving on next here, we've got another chase from Disney Plus. This awesome Captain America Falcon. Super, super awesome. One of the coolest sculpts in the whole set, I think, with his epic wings and everything. So yeah, gotta love Captain America. And this guy is great, playing him at the 75-point line. So of course he's got Avengers, Celebrity, and Soldier keywords. He also has a trait where he can start the game equipped with the Captain America shield and or Red Wing, and he can have both equipped at the same time, which is just amazing. Both of them are really good equipment. Then you also have traded Defend and Willpower. A lot of people forget about that. That Defend really came in handy a lot for me, just defending. There's a lot of 17 defenses on this team, so his 18 with Defend, you know, that little bit extra goes a long way. But also, when an adjacent friendly character replaces their defense value with Captain America's, that character can use toughness for that attack. So not only is he helping up their defense a little bit, he's also giving them toughness, which is great. You know, it definitely helps out. And then you also have this amazing special movement power, which gives him Force Blast, Hypersonic Speed, and Stealth. And when Captain America uses Hypersonic Speed and hits with a close attack after resolutions, he may place a hit character adjacent to himself, then use Force Blast as free. So what's really cool about that is you can actually Hypersonic up, hit somebody, knock them back with Force Blast so you don't have to break away, then, you know, move back, place them adjacent to you, and free Force Blast them closer to your team. Then you could have, you know, Sakarian Iron Man come in. Maybe he picked Charge Flurry. He just comes in and flurries on them real quick and just gets that KO. So that's really good. Also for pushing them back into Scarlet Witch's Hex Marker and, you know, getting them in that little area of effect, turning off all their powers, just really securing the kill on something. Honestly, I never pulled that off, but it was the main strategy. Like in the games that I was already winning, like I didn't really need to do that. And then there was games I was already losing that it just wasn't possible to pull off. So I don't know, that was the main plan, but it didn't work. But the team still plays great anyway. So he's got 10 movement with that Hypersonic, Force Blast, and Stealth special. He's got 11 attack with Quake, which I actually ended up using Hypersonic Quake quite a bit now that you can do that. He's got 18 with Energy Shield, and thanks to the Captain America Shield object, he actually will have a +3 from ranged attack, because that gives him +3 instead of +2 if he can already use it. So that's pretty great. And then you got that 3 damage with leadership. Of course, having leadership and willpower was actually really good combo. You know, most of the time he's either taking an action token off of himself or another friendly character. So it was really cool. I will say that I never really saw the back half of his dial too much. Either he only took 1 or 2 clicks or he just straight up died in one shot. So I really never saw like the running shot penetrating blast part of his dial. But, you know, that'd be pretty nice too. You'd have super senses and energy shield, and you'd have, you know, Avengers initiative to see through hindering. But I wouldn't recommend just starting him out at 50. I think 75 is really the sweet spot for him, and he worked out really well for me. Also, because dropping that Red Wing came in clutch many times. So here's that awesome Red Wing object there. So this gives you free once per game generate a Red Wing bystander, which is this right here. He's got 7 movement hypersonic with flight, 4 range, 10 attack precision strike for 1 damage, 17 with super senses and tiny size. Gives him that +1 defense from range, and some outwit is super handy as well. And then taking a look at his trait on the back, it says when Red Wing is KO'd, generate a Red Wing light object in the square it last occupied. So that's important because you need to go pick it up for this other effect here that says free, remove a Red Wing light object held by this character from the game. If you do, this turn, this character may activate the free action to generate the Red Wing bystander regardless of the once per game restriction. So you can go back out there, pick up your, you know, KO'd Red Wing and send him back out again. But yeah, the outwit from the Red Wing and just the extra little 1 damage attack most of the time was really, really useful. You know, sometimes he missed with his attack, but usually the outwit at least came in handy. So to combo with all of these characters, I also played the Scarlet Witch from Avengers War of the Realms at only 30 points. She's just pretty much purely our support character. So taking a look at what she can do here, she's got phase teleport passenger 3, but only to carry characters that share a keyword with her. So she can carry the whole team minus 1 person, which usually is fine. Then she's just got TK and some probability control. You know, the TK was super helpful for getting the objects to equip turn 1. And, you know, it was also good for positioning, you know, mid-fight to attack who I needed to attack. And, of course, prob is always useful. So she was a great little cheap support character. And one thing I like to do with her is, you know, you carry up the whole team, and then he can also still take the free action to make the Red Wing, who can then outwit something or go attack or whatever. So that was, you know, one of the things. He can go pick off another bystander or you know, get somebody off their top click or something. But usually I would like to reserve the Red Wing for after he hypersonicked in on somebody. You know, maybe they hit their stop click or somebody else shoots somebody and they hit their stop click. This was my stop click killer. Just free action to drop him out. You know, go hypersonic to finish them off, get them off that stop click just for 1 quick damage. And that worked pretty well. And last but not least, we've got one other character here. We've got the Black Leopard, a favorite of mine. You guys have seen him maybe in one of my other team build videos from back when I played Arkansas States in 2020. This guy was a big part of my team, and he's still technically modern legal, so I wanted to give him another shot. So of course, if you don't already know, he's got this amazing trait that says the maximum attack, defense, and damage values of opposing characters within 6 squares in line of fire are each equal to Black Leopard's printed value of that type. Then he's got leadership and perplex on his damage power. And the +2 part never really came in handy, or at least I didn't really pay attention to it, I guess. I was usually perplexing other people most of the time, or just perplexing his defense. But anyway, yeah, it does give you a +2 instead if an opposing character within 6 squares in line of fire has a higher printed value of the chosen type, if he's perplexing himself. So like I said, I was usually perplexing somebody else, but the leadership also comes in handy quite a bit. And yeah, just charge, 10 attack blades, 17 combat reflexes, makes him a 19 up close, 3 damage with that leadership perplex. He's really good for that trait specifically. Now, one reason I really wanted to use him is because he works really, really well with this Scarlet Witch, because his main thing is a trait that doesn't involve anything to do with, you know, normal standard powers. It's really just about the combat values on the dial. You can have him be carried by her or still be within the, you know, 3 square radius of her chaos marker, and it doesn't really affect anything. It doesn't really hurt him at all. I mean, yeah, it gets rid of his powers just the same, but he's still also making all of your opponent's stats, you know, just a basic 10 attack, 17 defense, 3 damage. And so that was really the combo here, was he can Obviously, I don't want him within the 3 squares, but if he has to be, he can be. And you just kind of have him within range and line of fire of the opposing characters. You get her within 3 squares of the opposing characters, and you just kind of knock out everything that they can do. Take out all their special powers and take out all of their good stats at the same time. Then you have Sakarian Iron Man kind of come in there and just smack them all, just hit them all with his crazy high stats. And of course, you also have Falcon, who can help kind of pull them into that kind of kill box scenario. And is also, he does a lot as well. He's a good attacker, willpower, leadership, defend. He's a really good team player, and he makes that deadly Red Wing bystander. So that was pretty much the whole idea of the team. Now, we also had, of course, some points left for some equipment. So obviously we played the Cloak of Levitation for only 5 points. This is one of the best 5 points you can spend in the game right now. And if you're playing Sakarian Iron Man, it's pretty much an auto play on your team because it does give you flight, plasticity, and sidestep. So Sakarian Iron Man doesn't actually have flight normally. So the flight definitely comes in handy. The plasticity comes in handy. Like I said, I like to pick poison sometimes because if he already has plasticity and outwit, he can keep people stuck next to him. He can outwit their defense power. He can poison them. Poison Flurry is a good one, or even like Poison Pulse Wave if there's a bunch of people next to you. But yeah, that and the fact that the sidestep also lets you pick up to 2 objects per turn because you could sidestep pick up an object and move pick up an object. So it definitely helps you get him loaded up with the objects faster to get his stats higher, get you picking more powers every turn. And, the sidestep also comes in handy because sometimes you're already close enough to the fight. You don't need to pick charge. You can just pick, Flurry and Precision Strike, Flurry Poison, whatever. You could Poison, you could sidestep Breakaway and Flurry on somebody else or whatever. It just opens up so many doors for him. It just really makes him go crazy. And then, of course, last but not least, we've got to play the Emotional Modifier. This is probably the best 10 points you could play in the game right now. I think this object, is a must include on just about any competitive team, just on the off chance that you do face against a Thanos with his dreaded, see through everything mind control. And the reason for that is because of this last effect here. So obviously the regular effect, free, choose one of the following to last until you choose again. Characters within 4 squares and line of fire can use Battle Fury. So basically you give everybody on your team Battle Fury. They can't be targeted by mind control. And it really lets you, move into position first at least. Then you also have the -1 attack or -1 defense options for all opposing characters within 4 squares, which are also really great options. Even if your opponent isn't playing a mind control team, those definitely come in handy. I usually equip that onto Black Leopard because I don't know, I just felt that it worked with him more, for where I wanted him to be positioned in the team. Being able to give everybody the Battle Fury, to start with, and then also just being able to -1 defense. That way, if he can't see somebody with his own thing to turn them to a 17 defense, he can at least -1 their defense or -1 their attack. If I'm kind of like, trying to clear or something, I'm more on the defense that turn. So yeah, choosing -1 attack or defense is still really useful, even if you're not facing Thanos and needing the Battle Fury. So that's pretty much the thought behind that combo there. That's pretty much the whole team and, the whole strategy. It worked really well sometimes, and then, sometimes not so much. Overall, I still really love the team. Oh, and of course, one other thing is I was also playing 3 Skrull Spies and 2 Sentinels on my sideline. However, I did want to say that these pretty much never came up. I never remembered to roll for the Skrull Spies when I KO'd something, so that's on me. But the Sentinels, I feel like there wasn't a lot of times I got hit more than twice in a turn, to be honest. Especially, definitely never, with X-Men team, because then it would just be twice and I get to bring one out. I don't think I played against any X-Men teams or anybody with X-Men keywords. So yeah, just between, Black Leopard, making it really hard for them to hit me with a 10 attack, the defending everybody up to 18, you got lots of perplex, lots of prob. My defense was up pretty high. Obviously I still got hit really hard here and there. But yeah, most of the time I didn't get hit 3 times, or if I did, I just completely forgot to bring them in. And like I said, when I did KO something, completely forgot to roll for them. Oh, so I should probably explain, just in case you guys are unaware, that for the Scroll Spies, on the sideline active trait, that whenever you KO an opposing character, you can roll a d6 for one of these on your sideline. On a 5 or 6, you get to generate them on click number 2 in the square the KO'd character last occupied. So click number 2 there, they got Sidestep, Close Combat Expert, and Scroll Team Ability for 20 points. I mean, honestly, most of the time it'd probably just be giving your opponent 20 points, but sometimes just hitting for 2 is all it takes. So they're definitely worth including. And then, of course, with the Sentinels as well. So like I was saying, they have this trait here where if you get hit 3 times in the same turn or 2 times by attacks made by characters with the X-Men keyword, you get to bring them off the sideline into your starting area on click number 1. And they just have some sidestep, 11 attack, 2 damage, some invuln. Again, you know, usually they're way back in the starting area. They can't do much unless you're getting pushed into your starting area. Then they can help. But sometimes it's just giving your opponent an easy 25 points. So they definitely have their pros and cons. But usually I just ended up forgetting them anyway. So it didn't really change anything. Anyway, that's the whole team. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments. Alright, so that's going to do it for this team build video. As always, if you enjoyed it, make sure you smash that like button. It does help me out a lot. Let me know all your thoughts about it down in the comments. How would you have changed it? Do you think I should have just scrapped it and played something else entirely? Maybe. But I enjoyed it anyway. So don't forget to click that subscribe button if you don't want to miss any future videos. But if you guys would like to help support the channel even more, make sure to check the links down there in the description for our Patreon, as well as the join button for the YouTube channel memberships, where you can see your name here in the credits for as little as $1 and be entered in a chance to win in the upcoming Patreon and membership giveaways, as well as a lot of other cool stuff at the higher tiers, so make sure you check that out if you're interested. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.